This meeting of the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners is called to order. I invite you to join us as we rise for the invocation by Todd Luce from Grandview Christian Church, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance. And we love your shirt.
So do I. Well, good morning, Council. Merry Christmas to you. Let's have a word of prayer. Gracious Lord, we thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today as it's the last meeting for this year. Lord, we pray that you will give the commissioners wisdom and understanding in the last final things of this year, Lord, and that you'll give them wisdom and understanding in the next year as well. Lord, we pray that the holiday season will be safe and enjoyable for everyone's family who is here, and we thank you for all that you've done for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
I think wearing that shirt, Todd, you're required to sing that song, actually. Hate Miser and...
I could, but, you know, we're officially...
Oh, all right.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
You bet, guys.
Roll call.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye. Here.
Commissioner-
Aye. Here.
Motion accepted. Commissioner Bell.
Catch it.
Present.
Commissioner McFall.
I'm here.
County Attorney Bellis.
Present.
County Administrator Croce.
Present.
It's going to be one of those meetings, is it?
You know, the good news is that this is the last meeting I'll be chairing. So I am about, anyway, approval of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, we do have one item to add to today's agenda. As follows, we are adding a new business item, number 9, which is the reappointment of Rudel Mergelman to the Fremont County Planning Commission with the term expiring on December 31st of 2028. With that change, Mr. Chair, I move to approve today's agenda.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Consent agenda. It looks like a couple of meetings worth of minutes, our typical bills, and a couple of ratifications of the chairman's signature on a couple of contracts and purchase order. No public hearings.
With that, Mr. Chair, move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move on to the administrative and informational portion of our meeting. We begin with reports from our staff and elected officials, and we will start with a sales and use tax report from our budget and finance officer, Sean Sutton. Sean.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Everybody here in the room. I wanted, before I get started, wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Sorry,
Thank you,
I forgot
sir.
my sports coat.
Oh,
It's at home hanging up.
I
till
was
next
wondering
year.
what happened. I'm very
Yeah,
disappointed.
he said, wait till you see what I wear to the meeting tomorrow. It's a
Kind of festive,
green
green.
shirt, yeah.
I'll do better next year. To get started, yes, the retail sales tax, this is through October, totaled $802,232, which is $25,258 less than 2024. Year-to-date, sit at $7,943,484, which is $15,475 more than 2024, and we are ahead of budget by $943,484. Just remember, for everybody, the sales tax, retail sales tax that I'm reporting today is split 75-25 between the general fund and the sales and use tax fund. So not all these dollars are to the general fund. The next report is the auto use sales tax report through November, which totaled $118,186 for November 2025, which is $16,138 more than 2024. Year-to-date, we sit at $1,387,674, which is $648 less than 2024, but we do remain ahead of budget by $218,924. We've talked about it several times, but that negative number was anticipated with both, I believe it was September and October numbers. Those included some large sales each of the last 2 years, and we did not anticipate that happening again in 2025, so we have budgeted appropriately. Next is the lodging report for October. This total was $3,064, which is $20,384 less than 2024. Total year-to-date, $347,566, which is $46,311 more than 2024, and ahead of budget by $64,233. There will be one more, hopefully, large collection, quarterly collection here in December, so lodging appears to be up for 2025. We'll continue, obviously, to monitor those numbers. Next is the retail sales tax for the Sheriff's Department for October, which totaled $534,822. This is $16,838 less than 2024. Year-to-date, sit at $5,295,656, which is $10,318 more than 2024, and ahead of budget by $337,322. The next report is the sheriff portion of the auto use sales tax, which totaled for November $78,791. This is $10,759 more than 2024. Year-to-date collections, $925,117, which is $131,099 less than 2024, but ahead of budget by $159,700. So there are a couple major reports coming out today. The GDP report, which kind of gives us the overall health factor of the United States. So be looking forward to see what that says. You know, the second quarter was up, so we'll see what the third quarter says. And anticipation of 2026, hopefully good numbers. And then also the Consumer Confidence Index is coming out today. That obviously kind of tells us how people are feeling, their savings accounts, and kind of what they're willing to spend. So with that, all those national factors obviously filter down to the state and our county as well. So with that, that's all I have to report today. Do we have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Sean. I just kind of pointing that, don't take that down too quick, Tony. Just a reminder, and we've talked about this 1,000 times already, but when we look at our numbers and our receipts for our sales tax revenue and auto sales tax, the bottom, the double underlined there in the middle of that page, the two numbers to the far right, just a reminder for folks on what these numbers are. In that case, the negative 196,648 is relative to the prior year. And the one to the right of that, 331,924, is relative to the budget we set last year. And we're always going to see that by the time we get to the end of the year, where we're hopefully, you know, numbers are tracking upward as far as actual receipts compared to last year. Not always, like in that case on that sheet in particular. But our numbers are generally higher than what we've budgeted, because we budget our revenues conservatively lower and our expenses conservatively higher. And that's why we end up seeing those kind of numbers on there. But the actual numbers for how it compares to last year is that second to the right column there in the double underline. So things are going well. It's tracking slightly up across the board, but that's a good thing. It just happens to be we're in better shape because we budget conservatively overall.
I got a quick question for you, Sean. On the lodging tax, the state's had it messed up most of the year, where they weren't sending out reimbursements. It used to be quarterly.
Yeah.
Have they switched it now to monthly?
Officially?
It appears to be monthly, but it's hard for me to determine. I have not received any formal notification from them that they're doing monthly. The $3,000 collected in October indicates maybe they're got it back to quarterly, but I've not received any formal notification from the state at this point.
That's going to skew numbers too for last, till we figure that out. All right, thank you.
I mean, you look at, that's completely, I mean,
it's
that's just
everywhere,
totally
totally
whacked
board.
compared to every year on how those things, it does look like it's back to quarterly with 3,000, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Your
But
guess
no
is
official
good.
word from them as far as how they're, okay.
No, and I think I reported, back in April, that's when it kind of got messed up. We did receive notification that they knew that it was, there was an error in their calculation, but really nothing since then to indicate that they're gone to monthly, or hopefully, looks like hopefully maybe back to quarterly.
Okay,
We'll report the numbers that they provide.
There you go.
there you go.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks
Okay.
so much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Appreciate
that. Next item on our agenda is the county administrator report. Turn to our county administrator, Tony Carochi.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone. Just a couple of quick items this morning. First, we'll start off with our job opportunities that we have posted in the county. At the Fremont County Sheriff's Office, we have a detention deputy posting that closes December the 29th, 2025. And in our Department of Human Services, we have a social caseworker, ongoing worker that closes January the 5th, 2026. So for more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcountyco.gov, or you can call our HR department at 719-276-7409. I wanted to just update everyone as to the status of Bridge 209A on County Road 19, which is Siloam Road south of Florence. They have completed repairs to the bridge, and the roadway is now open for travel. But our Department of Transportation does just such great work, and staff work really hard in that department, and I just kind of wanted to share a couple pictures. So this is from the top of the road prior to the repairs. And then you can look underneath, and you can see right here, you can see the sky right there through the...
That's
see if
kind
I
of
can-
frightening.
Oh, shoot. Ah,
Uh-oh.
what did I do?
And that's the underside again.
So you can see the sky from underneath the bridge. So the staff went in and redid the decking. And then they laid a piece of metal across the top, and then they repaved it. So I just thought it would give everyone kind of a chance to see, when we have a bridge repair, kind of what work goes into that and what it looks like. And
Do you know how long that repair took, Tony?
a couple days.
Just a couple of days?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, they jumped right on it and got it fixed and
That's
it
great.
reopened, so.
Thanks.
Anyway, that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Mr. Croce? Okay. Thank you, sir.
You betcha.
Moving on to our next item on our agenda, item number 2. Actually, I guess we will
Can we-
have ours first. I turn to my other elected officials if there are any updates. Any
Well,
comments,
certainly, I have comments.
please?
Very brief this morning, Mr. Chair, but thank you. I just wanted to say to everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If those aren't your thing, then Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Feast of Kings, and we cannot forget Happy Saturnalia. Anyone who might watch,
Bacchanalia.
yes, anyone who might happen to watch Big Bang Theory would be familiar with Saturnalia. But no, seriously, whatever it is that you're feeling in your heart this year, I hope you're feeling the spirit. I hope that you and your family enjoy a beautiful, wonderful holiday time, and just Merry Christmas to everyone. Stay safe out there.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, same thing. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, have a safe, happy holiday season. And last but not least, it has been very dry out there, and it's drier now than before. 70-mile-an-hour winds and 70-degree weather. The fuels are dry. That's why we've been under a fire weather watch for the last few days. But it is dry out there, so when you're out and about, be careful, be safe, and don't start any fires. Thank you.
Saw a report yesterday that well, maybe not the temperature here, I'm not sure what the temperature got up to here, but I think it was Denver. got up to 76, which is the average temperature for mid-May. And add to that the lack of moisture, and yes, please be careful. Seriously, please be careful out there. It is very warm, it is very, very dry. I don't have any other comments to really add to that because most of what I was going to spout on about we're covering in one of our agenda items.
And you can spout on at that
And
time.
I will spout on then. All right, Mr. Clerk, is there anything to add from your department? Okay. With that, we'll move on to item number 2, citizens who wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda. We have one person, Joe Stock. Joe, come on up.
Good morning, sir. Would you hit that button there to turn the microphone on?
Everything I say will be extemporaneous.
Could you hit the button there to turn the microphone on?
There you go.
Thank you.
I say everything I say will be extemporaneous because I had no idea it'd be here when I arrived here this morning. I just want to share with you a couple of ideas. Last week I was here in the Motor Vehicle Division to license my dump truck. I happened to bring with me a weigh ticket from Amrise. And I did that simply because in the past we've had discussions about the gross weight of the truck, which is to be not greater than 55,000 pounds. And when I went to get the license renewed, I was required to purchase a new title because there was a discrepancy between the tare weight on the ticket that I showed and what was on the title. This may not be in your venue to correct, but you need to know what's going on. Most of the trucks, like mine, have at least a 100-gallon tank on them. And when diesel weighs about 8 pounds to the gallon, that will affect the tare weight. And it can affect it to the extent of several hundred pounds. So anyway, I had to pay an additional fee because it's old. It's a 1990 model. And I had to pay the title fee in order to get the new license. And it was all because the tare weight on the Amrise ticket was 20 or 30 pounds different than what was on the title. And I'm just suggesting that that kind of operation is not sustainable. It's only $15, but I'm 85 years old. I've been around the block a time or two. I've paid taxes in this county for many years on quite a substantial piece of property. And that's the other issue I want to address. Because of the fact that you're issuing new building permits and adding to the tax rolls every year, it seems to me that it's unsustainable to raise the taxes on property that's existing, especially when it's getting old. My house is 35 years old. My hay barn is 31 years old. My hay barn happens to be in alignment with the rifle range on the north side of town, and they don't know how to hit their targets. Sometimes they shoot over the hill. I have 12 or 15 holes in the roof and the wall of my barn simply because of stray bullets. And that wouldn't be so bad, but we've had them enter the yard where our house is as well. And we have evidence there to support that. But what I'm telling you is that ranching is not that profitable, and I'm not able to maintain the barn and the house and face an increase in taxes every year on properties that are 30 plus years old. I know that it may not be in your venue to control either issue I've mentioned, but it is ridiculous to have to pay an additional fee when the license renewal is over $300 and it's an issue on tear weight. It's also not sustainable to have to pay nearly $900 a year on a 31-year-old barn to keep the weather from damaging the hay. The other problem we have, you can talk to anybody that's growing hay in this county, we're not able to sell it at a reasonable price. The only hay I've sold in the last year, I've sold it below the cost of production in order to make space in the barn for new hay. So all I'm saying is when you look at the federal government and you look at the state government and you look at what we do here locally, the way it's operating is not sustainable. And we need to do something about it if we citizens have the power to do it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that. Any others that wish to address the commissioners on a matter not scheduled on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on. There is no old business. First item of new business is the 2024 Fremont County Financial Statements and Management Letter. With us today, again, Mr. Kyle Logan from Logan and Associates to present his findings on the 2024 audit.
Well, good morning, Commissioners.
We should have a
Good
button that has
morning.
the cheering crowd.
You know, we could provide those sound effects.
Everybody that knows.
Yeah.
But please, Kyle, go ahead.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's great to be here. Pretty short since the last time I was here,
Yes.
which is good. And so, as you mentioned, yes, I'm here to present the results of our audit of the county's 2024 financial statements and single audits. So, and by the way, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you, sir.
And
Same to you.
anyway, so as you mentioned, I'm Kyle Logan. I'm the owner of Logan and Associates, the county's independent auditor firm. And so we began our field work as far as for the 2024 audit in about September, August, September timeframe. And that process, we go through and we test the internal controls over the county, over like your cash disbursements transactions, your payroll transactions, certain federal award programs. And so for 2024, the county received and spent about $12.3 million in federal funds. And that's, I believe, since I've been doing your audit, I believe that's the most that you have ever received and spent. Now, granted, a lot of that is the coronavirus money that had been received in prior years, and you were finally able to spend it this year. So, so as a result, I ended up testing 4 federal programs. We tested the Highway Planning and Construction grant program, which is related to the Grandview Bridge project. We tested the coronavirus SLRF funding that you had received, and we tested the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund that the county had received in 2023. Those last 2 we also tested in 2023 as well. And then finally, on the Department of Human Services side, we tested the SNAP program, or Food Assistance Program. Okay. Also, in our audit process, you know, we confirmed cash and investment balances with financial institutions, basically to verify that the money that the financial institutions are holding in the county's name is, in fact, what's being reported in the accounting records. We verify the property taxes collected with the county treasurer, and also all the sales taxes collected by the state and remitted to the county. We read minutes of your commissioner meetings, primarily to get an understanding of actions that have been taken throughout the year to see if there have been actions or contracts entered into that may have a financial impact on the county's financial statements. We also, really test certain balances of your balance sheet, your assets, your liabilities, and your equity as far as certain revenue streams as well. And finally, after that process, that gives me a level of comfort to issue an opinion on the financial statements. Now, keep in mind, everything in this document is responsibility of the county's management. My responsibility is to audit and issue an opinion. And so, as you can see up here on the screen here, is what's called the Independent Auditor's Report. And in that report on the first page there, the most important section is the first section right there, the opinion section. And so for the year ended December 31st, the county received an unmodified opinion. Well, what that means in layman's terms, that's a clean opinion. That is the best that you can receive from an independent auditor. What that also tells you is that the financial statements are fairly stated and materially correct as of December 31st, 2024. So that's what you're always looking for in the results from an auditor. Okay? So then I'll go through some highlights on the financials. Following the independent auditor's report, we have the management's discussion and analysis. And so, Tony, if you want to scroll down about 3 pages there. And basically what this is put together by Sean and his staff, and this is more of a written narrative of certain things that have happened over the past year, financial highlights, and comparing 2024 with 2023. It's required by the accounting standards. And so then following the management's discussion and analysis, we have on page 1, we have the statement of net position, or your balance sheet. And so what this is a snapshot picture at December 31st, 2024, of all the county's assets, all the county's liabilities or claims against those assets, and the county's net position or net worth, okay? And so the county, all of the funds that the county has are what we call governmental fund types, okay? And so what this page does is it combines all of those multiple funds into one column. And so, Tony, go ahead and scroll down a few more pages. That way we're looking at, keep going. Go about 3 more pages.
I love how you have the pages
There we go,
memorized,
right
sir.
there. You do this for 30
Been through
years
this
and
a
you get
couple of
used to
times.
it. Right? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So anyway, as you can see there, your total assets for the year was about $98.6 million. This is an increase of about $8.4 million over 2023. Your capital assets make up about $41.2 million of that, or 42% of your total assets. And again, that's all the buildings, all the infrastructure, all the equipment that the county owns currently, okay, at historical cost. Your cash and investments at $43.8 million. This is about 44% of your total assets. That increased about $3.9 million over prior year, okay? The 2 other categories that are significant in the asset section, your property taxes receivable of $7.6 million. That's 8% of your assets. And again, that is what you guys did last week for 2026. But each year in December, you certify taxes to be collected for the upcoming year. Okay. Then the accounts receivable, $4.3 million. That's about 4% of your total assets. And again, these are monies that are the county earned the revenue in 2024, but you're not receiving payment till 2025, okay? The next section, the total liabilities, there, $28.9 million. This decreased about $975,000 over last year, and several factors in this. Spending some of that coronavirus grant money, which we had reported on the unearned grant line or unearned revenue line in prior years. You spent that. Your payment on your long-term debt that you have on the COPS. And so a combination of that is why we decrease your liabilities. Hopefully that continues. okay? Because
That's our
again,
plan.
these are claims against your assets.
Right.
Okay, so when we look at this, your long-term debt, it's about 16.5 million. So that's the biggest part of your liabilities, makes up about 57%. Your unearned revenues, and again, these are revenues that the county has received the cash, but you haven't spent it yet because the time hasn't came, okay? And so that's about 7.5 million, or 26% of your liabilities. And then your accrued expenses. So there's something new this year. The accrued expenses, this includes your compensated absences payable, which is your accrued vacation. Well, for 2024, the accounting standards came out with a new standard that said you have to record an estimate for your accrued sick time, even though you don't pay it, which doesn't make sense in the terms of a liability. Liability is something that you're going to pay in the future. But anyway, not one of my favorite accounting standards that has been issued by the GASB. But again, it's an estimate based on history of what the county thinks people are going to take within the next year. So part of that is why, you know, even though we paid down our debt, we recognized unearned revenue, we had to add that portion. So that's why we're only showing about just less than $1 million decrease in your liabilities, okay? So then we get to the bottom section there, your net position or net worth of the county, 61.6 million. This is an increase of 8.8 million. Biggest share of that is what's invested in your capital assets, net of the associated debt of about 25.3 million, or 40% of your net position. The restricted section there, 12.3 million. This is your Tabor reserve, the debt service reserves, unspent conservation trust monies or lottery monies. And then the last section there, unrestricted, of 24 million. Now, I like to take that number and compare it to your expenses on page 2 to see how many months does the county have in unrestricted funds. And so when we look at that based on the 2024 expenses, you have about 6 months worth of operations, okay? And so that's something, you know, we always look, which is good. But if for whatever reason the state, something happened and they weren't able to disperse or pay you the sales taxes monthly, you could sustain operations for 6 months without having any significant issues, okay? But again, it's also available for the county to use if some unknown project comes up and you have it available for that, okay? So that's your balance sheet or statement of net position. The other statement I'll touch on is the next page, page 2. This is a statement of activities. And so this is like your income statement for the year. And the way it flows, we start on the left side there with your expenses by department or by category. And then in the center section there, we have what's called program revenues. These are revenues that are collected by the county that are specific to a certain department, okay? And then we get over and we go down and we get into our general revenues. And so what I like to point out is on that line kind of there in the middle, second column from the right, you see that 22 million with brackets around it. Well, that shows you that your program revenues do not generate enough money to cover your expenses for your different departments. That's no concern. That's a common factor in local governments, okay? So then, how do you subsidize that, or how do you cover that? Well, you have your general revenues, which are your property taxes, sales taxes, auto use taxes, investment earnings. And so, you know, your total general revenues are about 31.5 million over last year. And then that, the next line there, change in net position or net income for the year, was about 8.8 million. And so this increased your net position by about 17%. So this is a good trend. I mean, I've been doing your audit for several years, and each year I've been seeing improvements as far as you guys managing your expenses, being able to tap into other revenues such as grants to kind of offset expenses. So that's a good thing. Okay, and so then again, your ending net position at about 61.6 million for the year. Okay, so really those are the two significant financial statements in this. Following pages 3 through 5, these are your fund financial statements, and so this is what your accounting system reports. We have the four major fund, what we call major funds because they're significant, the general fund, your transportation fund, the human services, and your sales and use tax funds. The remaining funds, although they're significant, we combine them back on pages 34 and 35, okay? And so then those numbers roll forward for presentation purposes. Then also, we have at the bottom of page 3 and on page 5, we do what's called a reconciliation from pages 3 and 4 to pages 1 and 2. We're going from basically a modified accrual basis accounting to a full accrual basis, which is similar to how a company or corporation reports, okay? The next pages 6 and 7. These are the statement of fiduciary funds and statement of changes in fiduciary funds. And so these are funds that are held by the county, but purely in a custodial manner. So what that means is that the county doesn't have access to these funds, but you do have to keep track of them, okay? And so again, this is required reporting. The details are back on pages 43 and 44 for this information as far as money coming in and money going out. Okay, then, so that kind of covers the financial statements. Then we get into pages 8 through 29. These are the notes to the financial statements. And so the accounting standards require certain information to be disclosed along with the financial statements that either supports the numbers up in the financials or provides a more detailed explanation of the information presented. And so, Tony, don't worry about keeping up with me. I'm just going to kind of go through the notes here. But so pages 8 through 17, this is your summary of significant accounting policies. And so that's updated each year with any changes that have been made. Pages 17 and 18, this is your budgetary footnote. And the one thing I'll mention in there is that you had two funds that overspent. The county lodging tax and the conservation trust funds, they weren't overspent by very much. But if we don't mention it, the state auditor is going to contact you and say, hey, you overspent and you didn't mention it. So anyway, it's kind of more just to keep the state happy. Not a big concern from my standpoint as your auditor because you have plenty of money in the funds, okay? Then following pages 18 through 21, this is your cash and investments. You're primarily invested in Colo Trust and C-Safe. These are local government investment pools in Colorado that actually are earning some pretty decent interest rates. And so you have about approximately $9 million in Colo Trust and $17.6 million in C-Safe. And then you have about another $17.7 million in the local banks and financial institutions here in the county. Okay. Pages 22 and 23 reports the interfund balances and transfers. So balances that temporarily are owed between funds because one fund may have been spent a transaction, but then it wasn't reimbursed till after the year end. Also, there are transfers that are made which are part of your budget process. Those are also disclosed. Page 24, this is your capital assets table showing, in kind of a summary of all the county's buildings, equipment, vehicles, infrastructure. Then pages 25 and 26, this is your long-term debt footnote, which talks about the COPs that have been issued in prior years and that were refunded in 2021. It shows that table, but then it also shows you a table with the 5-year incremental payments that are going to be coming due in the next 5 years, and then lumped together in 5-year increments after that. So 2038 is when all the current debt will be paid off, okay? Page 26, this was a new standard last year in 2023. Since the county has these airport land leases that count, and they're more than 1-year periods, the county standards say, well, you got to start reporting that as perhaps as a long-term asset and a long-term liability. So again, we made that adjustment last year, and this explains the details of those transactions. Okay. Pages 27 through 28, these are your employee benefits, the retirement plans, health and life insurance plans, and disclosures there. And then finally, the last 2 pages there, 28 and 29, required disclosure on your insurance, on the TABOR, and, potential litigation, and then reference to the E911 authority as far as that it's out there, but it's not part of the county's financial statements, okay? So that covers the footnotes. We get into pages 30 through 33. This is a required supplementary information. This is primarily your general fund, transportation, human services, and sales and use tax funds, budgetary comparison schedules. And so again, part of our audit is we verify that the budget that you adopted in the previous December is actually what is being reported here, and compare it to the expenditures that are presented. Pages 34 through 44, this section here, I mentioned earlier that you have a lot of your smaller funds that get combined for presenting up in the front. And so that's what these are the first 2 pages are the combining of those funds, and then followed by their related budgetary comparison schedules, okay? And then finally, at the very end, I believe it's 43 and 44, that's the combining for those fiduciary funds that I had mentioned, okay? That kind of covers the financial statement piece. Now we get into the single audit. And as I mentioned, the county spent about $12.3 million in federal funds during '24. The requirement there is if you spend over $750,000 of federal funds, you're required to have more of a compliance type audit. And so that's what this is. I mentioned that we tested 4 programs, and in that process, we basically talk with staff, get an understanding of how the programs work, get an understanding of what expenditures are allowed by those programs, and how the either request for reimbursement or how the recognition of the revenue is being reported. And really, I'm happy to say that we only had 1 finding this year, but it's a carryover from last year just because of our timing of being late. We're required to report all this single audit reporting package on the Federal Audit Clearinghouse's website by September 30th of the following year, of year end. So we're a few months late. And so anyway, that's the only finding I issued. The others related to financial reporting and related to the suspension and debarment testing, those went away because you guys took care of it. So that's always, it makes me happy as an auditor to see those go away, so.
It makes us even happier as commissioners,
All
trust
right.
me.
Yeah, okay. And so on pages 54 and 55, this is your schedule of expenditures of federal awards. So it's pretty small print, but it just shows you by the various federal agencies. Yeah, I need a magnifying glass. So.
It's really bad.
But this shows the
There will be a
12
test on this, by the way.
yeah, the 12.3 million. And, the majority of that comes through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, both through, pass through the state, okay? And then finally, the last 2 pages, pages 56 and 57, this is your local highway finance report. because the county receives the highway users tax fund. You're required to report this schedule in your financial statements. This was set up by legislators many, many, many years ago. We auditors aren't big fans of this because no two clients prepare it the same way. But we do go and verify that the information in this report that has been submitted to CDOT is what's being reported here. Okay, that's the financial statements. Before I talk about the management letter, any questions? I know I kind of went through that quickly, but.
Any questions?
I
Comments?
have no questions at this point. I do have comments, but I think I'll wait until he's complete.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so if you do come up with questions, let Sean know. He can get in touch with me and I'll find an answer. Okay, so then the other document that you have there is what I refer to as the management letter. And so again, this is required communications by our professional standards to you, the Board of Commissioners, the governing board of the county. And so it talks about my responsibility as your auditor and performing the audit. Talks about, the supplementary information that's reported in the financials, accounting estimates, significant accounting policies, which I mentioned there, the change in the compensated absences for the accrual for sick leave. Significant audit adjustments. We did have a few adjustments, primarily on the Department of Human Services fund. Again, nothing that was significant enough to cause me to change my opinion on the financials, so that's good. If there were difficulties or disagreements during the audit, well, you would have heard from me before today if there were, so that's always a good thing. And then it's also, a tool that we use to either provide best practices or room for improvement things. And I'm a lot of under the other information, the county's IT, we have our IT consultant come in and look at things. Well, because we had such a short time frame between the issuance of the 23 audit and to now, all I had her do was just kind of update to see if anything had really changed from her previous review. And really, it's all pretty much the same because there wasn't a lot of time to get things in place. So we're going to look at that again in the future, but nothing that causes significant concern from an audit standpoint. But again, these are areas that we feel are important to address and take a look at, okay? And so, again, we talk about the IT system kind of overall. We really been looking at the sheriff's office IT system primarily for the inmate commissaries reporting, and it's called a jail management system that's by Tyler. Tyler was supposed to do training, and as of today, nobody's heard from Tyler.
And
as far as-
clarification, Tyler is an entire software system. It's not a person named Tyler.
Exactly. Oh, yes, thank you, yes.
We're not
Yeah.
waiting for the
We're
man
not-
named Tyler out there.
Right,
It's an
yes, yes,
entire
that-
software system.
You are
so,
correct, thank you.
Yes.
So that's good to know. That would have been handy information 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, again, but no new comments, so that's good.
great.
That tells you, as a Board of Commissioners, that, policies and procedures that have been put in place either by you or previous commissioners and finance people, they're being followed. It also tells you that we're at a point where we have good, sound financial reporting for the county by fund and overall. So that's a good thing. And finally, I want to thank Sean and Sheriff and the county staff and Janine over at DHS and her staff, because really, they have the hard part in all this process of digging for information, pulling it together for us, and then answering questions to sometimes events that happen, well, in this case, happened 1 to 2 years ago. So we really appreciate their help. as far as getting this turned around, and so I could be here today to present it. So thank you to them. And that's all I have. So questions?
Debbie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. No questions, Kyle, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here today. And to just kind of mention, we finally are caught up with audits here for Fremont County. Many of our folks may remember the cyber attack that we had a few years ago that we have been recovering from ever since. And it was, for us at that time, it was a perfect storm. We had a brand new finance officer in place. We had some other new people over there. We had the cyber attack that took every piece of information away from us that we ever had and had to start rebuilding that. And so to look back and to see where we've come from that just a few years ago, and to understand today we were getting a clean statement from you, which, as you said, is the best that you can get, to understand that we have 6 months of operating expenses in reserves is pretty amazing to me. And so a huge thank you, not only to you, Kyle, but to our finance officer, Sean Sutton, who we all saw here a little bit ago with his report, but also to his staff, Sheriff Hall and Dana King and Rachel Miller. We have an incredible finance staff, and we are so grateful for all of them. So thank you, guys.
No, thanks.
I was gonna see if you had something to add, because I was in the same boat. I'm like, well, that was pretty good.
Scratching out notes as I go.
The reality is, we are happy to be at the end of that particular story. And thank you for the work that you guys do. And big thank you to Sean and Sheriff and our whole office there, and all the work they've done over the course of this time to get us back to zero.
Yes.
Right.
So really appreciate all that, and love getting good reports. It's always striking to me that every year on this, when we cover that statement of activities, the net revenue and change in net position of governmental activities. And it's always a good reminder for folks when they're looking at the services that are being provided countywide across all these different layers of the government and bureaucracy, that it's all of the revenues that are required in order to make those things work. Fee-based government just simply would not be feasible if we actually charged the fees necessary for the services provided. People could not afford the services provided. And so that 22 million in the parentheses is covered by everybody so that these services can be provided for the community. And so just a reminder of what your county government does and is doing for us. But Kyle, thank you so much for a good report. And
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Kyle.
I guess we need a motion to accept. So
Sure, Mr. Chair.
either of you?
Absolutely. I move to accept the 2024 Fremont County Financial Statements and Management Letter as presented by Mr. Logan.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Kyle, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And again, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry
Christmas
Christmas
to
to you.
Okay. Next item on our agenda. This is going to be a fun one.
Okay.
Item number 2 will be resolution number 21, series of 2025, opposing the Colorado PUC's clean heat electrification mandate and affirming the right of Fremont County residents to choose their energy sources. With that, I have the pleasure and the privilege to read such resolution to you this morning in its entirety, because honestly, it is a very well-written resolution that has a whole lot of detail in it that I think, not all the detail, but a good portion that will be necessary to understanding what's going on. So the resolution opposing the Colorado PUC's clean heat electrification mandate and affirming the right of Fremont County residents to choose their energy sources. Whereas on December 3, 2025, the Colorado Public Utilities Commission, the PUC, adopted new rules under the state's Clean Heat Plan that require natural gas utilities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 41% by 2035 relative to 2015, with a de facto target of full decarbonization, i.e. elimination of fossil fuel and wood use for home heating and cooking by 2050. And whereas compliance with the PUC's mandate will impose significant costs on homeowners and businesses, and whereas the utility's own filings estimate that retrofitting an existing home for all electric heating and appliances can exceed $20,000 per home before incentives, and whereas statewide data shows that on an average, electricity remains significantly more expensive per unit of delivered energy than natural gas, under these conditions, forcing full electrification will raise monthly heating and energy bills, especially in rural and mountain communities. And whereas rural and mountain counties, such as Fremont County, often depend on a patchwork or private electric grid or small distribution systems and cooperatives that historically have had challenges delivering reliable, affordable electricity, particularly in inclement weather, winter conditions, or during wildfire-related outages. And whereas many Fremont County residents and businesses, including small businesses, farms, older homes, and seasonal residences, rely on energy sources other than electricity, for example, propane, natural gas, wood, propane, natural gas boilers, etc., for heating and cooking, and must have the freedom to choose the energy source best suited to their housing, lifestyle, financial means, and risk tolerance. Forcibly eliminating that choice would violate their property rights and economic freedom. And whereas a forced transition to electricity as a sole source of heat and cooking would impose disproportionate burdens on low-income residents, retirees on fixed incomes, small businesses, and rural property owners who may lack the resources to retrofit their homes, install ductwork or 220-volt service, or bear the increased monthly costs when electricity prices rise due to the infrastructure build-out, the PUC and the utilities plan. And whereas the PUC's decision, by prioritizing statewide decarbonization mandates over affordability, reliability, and local control, threatens the economic well-being, energy security, and personal freedom of county residents. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fremont County Board of County Commissioners as follows. 1, opposition to mandate. Fremont County strongly opposes the PUC's clean heat mandate, which seeks to eliminate natural gas and other non-electric energy sources for home heating and cooking by 2050 as a condition of state-mandated decarbonization. 2, affirmation of local choice. The county affirms and defends the right of its residents and businesses to choose how they power their homes and operations, including but not limited to natural gas, propane, wood, coal, renewable off-grid electricity, or any other lawful energy source. 3, recognition of rural challenges. The county recognizes that rural and mountain communities like Fremont County face unique challenges, including unreliable grid connectivity, harsh winters, wildfire risk, and limited economic resources, which make a one-size-fits-all electrification mandate inappropriate, unfair, and harmful. 4, call for flexibility and equity. The county calls on the PUC, state legislature, and utilities to revise or suspend the mandate and instead adopt a flexible, equitable energy policy that A, allows for a mix of energy sources, gas, propane, wood, coal, electricity, off-grid renewables for heating and cooking, and B, protects residents from excessive cost burdens and utility bill increases, and C, considers reliability, resilience, and local conditions in rural and mountain counties, and D, respects local control and individual choice over energy systems. 5, request for state and utility accountability. The county requests that the PUC and utilities provide transparent reporting of cost and reliability impacts of electrification mandates, especially as applied to rural communities before proceeding further. 6, support for alternative solutions. The county supports and encourages voluntary adoption of clean energy and efficiency measures, weatherization, solar, wood heat, hybrid systems, etc., but rejects mandatory retrofit requirements that impose heavy costs and eliminate choice. 7, transmission to state authorities. A copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to the Colorado PUC, the governor, the Colorado General Assembly, and relevant utility providers to ensure local voices from Fremont County are heard and considered in statewide energy policy making. Be it further resolved that this board stands ready to collaborate on policies that respect economic reality, rural energy needs, reliability concerns, and individual liberty, instead of one-size-fits-all mandates from distant regulators. And that is the resolution before us today. And I would move resolution number 21, series of 2025.
Well, second that. Third, fifth, however you want to say it. I got some comments too, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair.
Do you want to give yours first?
Sure.
And then, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's a very detailed resolution, and I hope anyone goes back and reads it again for themselves and looks at it. I'm not against renewable energy. Let me start out with saying that, because somebody's going to jump on us and say, oh, they're just against this. Well, that's not it at all. Without multiple options for energy, we will not survive on just renewable energies alone. It says it in the very first whereas here, where greenhouse gas, the utilities, natural gas utilities are supposed to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by 41% by 2035. Well, since 2005, those have dropped 20% due to using natural gas versus coal. So they're already doing a part. It's a clean energy to start with. It's one of the cleanest forms of energy we have next to nuclear, other than renewable. But this is all tied to a lot of stuff that the governor is doing, which is basically killing Colorado, in my opinion, and others as well. But I'm speaking for myself. You have energy codes that they're demanding that we adopt in the counties and cities. You have new building codes that they're demanding we adopt in buildings, for building codes in counties and cities. Those will only increase the cost of building a home, which they tout affordable housing on one side, and on the other side, they're doing everything they can to make a house cost much more money. It's going to increase your electricity rates, which already has. Black Hills is seeking a 50% increase to pay for what they are mandated from the state government to do, and that's killing their now gas-powered facility to renewable. So it just keeps adding up and piling up and piling up and piling up. There's no end to this that's going to end right with the direction that Governor Polis is going with this and his mandates to kill all these other sources of energy by 2035, 2050, either one of those. We've got to have a multiple combination of those in order to sustain, and the electrical grid won't handle it anyway, as it is. So I'll stop right there for now.
Okay. Anything?
Just a really quick comment
Please.
here. I think the two of you are well-versed on this and pretty much saying everything I want to say, but the one thing I really want to draw attention to is item 4D that you just read. Asking that the state respect local control and individual choice over energy systems. The issue is the state does not respect local control and individual choice over anything. And so getting someone to pay attention to even this one particular thing, it's a really heavy lift. So we're doing everything that we can. You know, we often are asked by folks, well, what are you doing to try to help? This is what we're doing to try to help. We are unifying with a single voice. We are sending one message to all of those who need to hear this message. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for your hard work on this.
Thank you, Commissioner. We do have one person signed up to speak about this before I give my thoughts. John Hamrick, please.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Just a quick comment on the previous presentation by Mr. Logan.
Yes.
It is really great to have a competent auditor, someone who can translate the accounting into English, and that's number one. And number two, that cares about what the results of the audit says. And I hope that they're not here to hear that, but perhaps if you could pass that on for me, I'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely,
It
thanks,
can't be
John.
overstated enough to have an accountant that's able to actually talk English.
Speak English.
Absolutely.
Layman's terms, yeah.
Thank
I
you.
understand that 100%. In just a general comment on your resolution, in transmitting it to the PUC, remember there's actually the PUC, the commissioners, they have a staff, and then there's kind of an independent staff that serves a public purpose. Of the name of it is escaping me right now, but so it's important that this go to both of those essentially organizations within the PUC.
If you think about that, get us that information after the.
Sure,
we're out
I
of
can,
here.
you bet. I will do that. So I have something I did not write this, but I did want to share it and get this on the record in terms of what you're doing this morning. Colorado Public Utilities Commission has done it again, proving when regulators get together, they can create a fantasy land so detached from reality, it makes Disneyland look like a documentary. The PUC has adopted a new rule ordering power utilities to slash emissions 41% by 2035. Colorado's statewide goal is eliminating gases by 2050, as in zero, as in natural gas, coal, and wood. Thank you for your service. Appreciate your heating our homes and powering 2/3 of our electricity. Now pack your things and go. Back in 2021, the state required utilities to file clean heat plans. This clean heat plan is a Dear John letter to your furnace and your wood stove. You see, eliminating greenhouse gases means eliminating all coal and natural gas and wood, and therefore most of our electricity too, which is just detached from reality. No plan survives first contact with reality, or with Governor Polis's Colorado Energy Office, which in July suggested that the PUC raise the target to 41%. So this is at the suggestion of the governor. Utilities fought the idea, consumer advocates fought it, even the union says, guys, but the PUC responded, great feedback, everyone, we're doing it anyway. Here's the little inconvenience we call reality. You cannot cut emissions 41% without removing vast numbers of customers, like myself, from the gas system. The only way to hit these numbers is to rip out stoves, water heaters, furnaces, close dryers, and shutter factories that use gas in production. Colorado is home to one of the world's finest foundries where artists like Loveland's famed Lundin family create bronze statues, not after 2050. Even if you shove heat pumps everywhere, there'll be no way to power them. Colorado's electric grid is already at a failure point, with only 1/3 of our juice coming from renewables. So just to get the original 22% reduction, Black Hills Energy estimates $397 million per year in compliance expenses. Guess who gets to pay that?
We do.
We do, the consumers. XL estimated $1 billion in 5 years. A typical home retrofit, as you have in your resolution, can cost more than $20,000. But don't worry, the PUC assures us these will be cost effective. And their math just does not
Don't
add up.
worry. Yeah, don't
I feel
worry.
better already, John.
Yes, feel better already. Some of us dinosaurs foolishly believe that math still exists. I know. Crazy is thinking there are only two sexes. In 2024, Colorado households paid 4 times more for electricity than natural gas when you compare actual energy input. 4 times more for electricity. So we get rid of gas, where are we going with our bills? Through the roof. Only a tiny fraction of gas-heated homes in Colorado would save money by switching to heat pumps. This insane directive cements a major shift from the PUC's original mandate to guarantee power reliability at least cost to us captive customers. Let me repeat that. This insane directive cements a major shift from the PUC's original mandate to guarantee power reliability at least cost to captive customers. We're watching an entire tyrannical regulatory system rely on magical thinking, where apparently physics no longer exists. Utilities must now file beefed-up clean heat plans showing how they'll meet the new rules. So expect incentives to rip out functioning appliances, incentives funded from somewhere. This money does not appear magically. Restrictions on new gas hookups, even higher rates and more hearings where the public screams into the void. Meanwhile, lawmakers and regulators will keep insisting that none of this is a ban on natural gas. They're just making it so expensive and impractical, you'd have to be insane to keep using it, even if allowed. If Colorado leaders want to outlaw natural gas, they should have the political courage to say so. If they want to quadruple your energy costs, they should have the political courage to say so. Colorado deserves transparent, realistic adult conversations about energy. And if affordability is relevant, as we're hearing a lot nowadays, my advice, screaming into the void and into the wind, to the Democrats in the legislature is quit making everything more expensive. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, John. It's interesting, the claiming that it's not trying to eliminate fossil fuels and natural gas, but they're the ones that actually put in place the 100% renewables by 2050. And that's the goal. Just remember, that's the goal that they're moving toward, is this 100% renewable, not the 41% in emissions.
2035, it's just the years, yeah.
Yeah, and what they're doing is these interim steps. And thank you, John. You hit many of the points that I had intended to make, so thank you for that. You save us all from having to listen to me drone on for the next 2 hours. But it won't stop me from droning on a little bit. This, again, just to emphasize, this is just another movement of the goalposts where our utilities are being forced into these situations, and we wonder why the Black Hills of the world and the XLs of the world come back with massive rate increases, because they have to pay for these systems. And here the PUC, using their regulatory authority, not legislative authority, they're using their regulatory authority to create an arbitrary emissions standard for 2035 that will increase costs of your heating bill. It'll increase costs of new construction and retrofitting, as we've talked about a couple times. There were actually people in front of the PUC that said, let's back off just a little bit. Let's talk about some realistic plans of what we can achieve by 2035. And they were talking about a 30% request instead of this 41%. The 41% reduction target by 2035 was a figure that actually the figure, the 30%, was sort of like the in-between for some of the utilities. Some of the state agencies actually were opposed to this 41% emissions reduction target, including, get this, including the Colorado Energy Office. Polis's Colorado Energy Office was against this increase to 41%. If that doesn't tell you it's a wacky, wacky proposal, I don't know what will. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment was against this. They warned that we should have a realistically achievable goal for 2035, like around 30%. And that was the utilities as well saying that. Instead, they pushed on ahead for this far more aggressive reductions up to 41% that is advocated only advocated for only by environmental advocacy groups. Utilities are going to be forced into these aggressive construction plans and aggressive refit plans for their power plants in order to comply with this insane 41% level, regardless of the costs, regardless of the feasibility, regardless of whether or not you and I and Joe the citizen out there in Colorado and Fremont County are going to be able to do these things in our own homes, all the while taking away our ability to decide what's best for us in regard to how we heat our homes. All of these things. This is nothing new, by the way. This is something that goes back even to 2009, 2010, with the passage of House Bill 1365, which started the trend away from coal to gas. And now that they got gas in place, now they're trying to get rid of gas to move to pure electrification. Where does electricity come from? Well, it comes from those same kind of plants, but they want to move to a renewable source in these plants, which is not baseload energy. If you don't know what baseload energy is, that's when those smokestacks are pouring out the smoke and your lights turn on. It doesn't take it's talking about ramp up time in energy. We have good baseload energy. It goes through the peak usages and the low usage times, and it keeps us steady with our lights being able to turn on. It keeps your refrigerator on and keeps the meat from spoiling in your freezer. That's what baseload energy does. What is not baseload energy? Solar panels and windmills. That is not baseload energy. That cannot account for peak usage and peak times of usage, while a coal-fired or even a natural gas-fired plant can. Folks, this is going to cost us a fortune. It's going to cost local governments a fortune. It's going to cost the individuals a fortune in order to heat their homes, and all the while taking away their right to choose what is best for them. I think Dwayne mentioned that plenty of folks that are actually off-grid. Even in our county, we have folks off-grid. People choose that if that's what's best for them. And if it's so wonderful and it's so affordable, why do we have to force people to do this? I don't understand it. I never will. I never understood it up in Denver either. If it's so wonderful, why do we have to force people to do it? And that is exactly what's happening. I appreciate the point on Black Hills and XL. $397 million annually. Annual costs for Black Hills. Black Hills still has their rate increase sitting in front of the PUC. And now the PUC itself wants to put additional costs upon Black Hills and XL. Do you think we've seen the last of the increase requests from Black Hills? Well, of course not. Black Hills and XL are not the ones that are going to pay for this. You and I are going to be the ones that ultimately pay for this. And this is because of the PUC. The PUC is there to provide safe, reliable, adequate, and efficient electric and gas service. They are there to determine just and reasonable rates. Meanwhile, they are adding exponentially to the costs of what it's going to take to deliver that electricity to your home. This is absolutely stunningly stupid.
I think you need to think about one thing.
Yeah.
Who appoints those to the PUC? The governor of Colorado.
Governor of
So
Colorado.
he may not be using his Colorado Energy Office, but he's using his PUC to accomplish
is.
his goal. Yeah.
He is. You're right. These are 3 people that are appointed by the governor's office and confirmed by the Senate. And they are doing us no favors. Folks, if the millions of people watching hear anything, write to the PUC. Inundate them with comments against this insane policy. This is insane. We'll get some of the other group from Mr. Hamrick as far as getting that other organization within our resolution. We'll get that sent to our own legislators and to I think we'll probably send it to the president and the speaker, to the governor's office. This makes me mad. You get the government you vote for, and this is what Colorado has voted for, unfortunately, and it's going to result in destructive heating bills. Destructive. When we are trying to make affordable housing, when the mantra from our colleagues in CCI from the blue counties is about affordability and affordable housing, and yet I guarantee they will be silent on this issue that will require massive increases in those heating bills, making it completely unaffordable and increasing it on the front end during construction. That's what's happening here. Making it more expensive on the front end to build, making it more expensive on the back end to live month by month.
To give you a moment to breathe, if I may, sir.
Thank you.
If you're opposed to this as we are, find a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. I'm getting ready to give you some very important information. So
Excellent.
it's very easy to search for as well if you don't have a chance to get it. Google PUC Colorado. You will find the same information. Give them a call. Their telephone number, and I'm sure they would love to hear from you in person, is 303-894-2000. As well, if you would like to send them an email, it's a longer email, but I'm going to give it to you, DORA_PUC_website@state.co.us. Let them know what you think.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Roll call. Sir. I guess the clerk had to leave.
That's right.
He's on it.
What's that? Yeah. Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye. That motion is
Motion
adopted.
passes.
Item number 3. Yes. Resolution number 22, series of 2025, repealing Fremont County Ordinance 2004-1 and eliminating the county-imposed impact fee for fire protection and emergency medical services for the use and benefit of the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District. And for this, we turn initially to Mr. Bellis, our county attorney.
The Canyon City Area Fire Protection District, for purposes relevant to this resolution, is a special tax district, and it does fund its operations by both a mill levy and by impact and development fees. In addition to the mill levy, the Fire Protection District also imposes fees whenever anyone develops unimproved property. For example, at 4 Mile Ranch. 4 Mile Ranch is building out at this time, so there are a number of new residential properties being constructed at 4 Mile Ranch, and the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District imposes impact and development fees every time a building permit is issued. Initially, when the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District was established, they did not have the authority to impose those impact fees. The legislature did provide for special taxing districts, but initially they did not have the authority to impose fees beyond their mill levy. So when the Canyon City Fire Protection District was established, they did come to the county, they did present a study with respect to the cost of serving new properties, and at the request of the Fire Protection District and frankly the voters who established that district, the county imposed by resolution an impact fee back in 2004. Since 2004, the statutes have been amended. The county no longer is required to impose that fee. The Fire Protection District has statutory authority at this point to establish the fee itself. They have done that. In November, they did have a meeting. There was a new study regarding impact fees that was presented, and the Fire Protection District Board approved a new fee schedule. That fee schedule became effective immediately upon its adoption on November 17th. So at this time, if someone were to come in and get a building permit, the county is also imposing that impact fee at the fire district's request. That fee is now no longer necessary. It has been superseded by the new schedule of fees adopted by the Fire Protection District. So this resolution will repeal Fremont County Ordinance 2004-1, which imposed impact fees on behalf of the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District at their request. It is no longer necessary. The fire district now can impose those fees itself and can collect those fees. So essentially what this will do is it will repeal the county-imposed fee for the Canyon City Fire Protection District, and we will no longer collect those fees at the building department when issuing new building permits.
Thank you, Mr. Bellis. Any questions or comments? I went out of order here. I was going to have Commissioner Bell read that. I don't know if she still wants to, or
I
just
don't.
summarizing comment.
Yeah, I think that you did a great job with that, Mr. Bellis, so thank you for that. I simply would say this is one small thing less that our building department is going to have to do to collect, to remit those revenues to another governmental entity, and so I'm all in favor. They redid the way that they're doing business, and so not a bad thing for Fremont County.
Right. Or its residents.
Yes.
I have a comment and a motion, if you're ready.
Okay.
So my comment is, we just went off on a rail of the cost of building homes. And this proposed, or I guess you said since they passed it in November, is active. This fee to the fire district also increases the price to either remodel your home or build a home, if I'm correct, right? It's either one of those. So I think that situation, take it up with the fire chief on that and the fire board, because it does increase the cost of building a home again, which is just, everybody's adding on to that, and it's frustrating as heck. With that, Mr. Chair, I have a motion. Move to approve resolution number 22, series of 2025, repealing Fremont County's ordinance 2004-1 and eliminating the county-imposed impact fee for the fire protection and emergency medical services for the use and benefit of the Canyon City Fire Protection District.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? I will add just one more comment. I thank you, Commissioner McFall, for mentioning the affordability aspect of this, because that is another critical thing that adds to the overall cost of construction and the lack of affordability and massive fees. The county, while we are required to collect taxes for all of the taxing entities that are on the property tax bill and disperse those monies, we are not so required to collect other districts' fees and other taxing entities' fees. And this is a good move away from that practice. So, roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. With all that fun out of the way, this is pretty typical here, the rest of this agenda for end of the year meetings, where we have appointments and reappointments for all of our boards, our commissions, and let's just move right on into item number 4 with the reappointment of Janet Dixon to the John C. Fremont Library District Board for a term expiring December 31, 2030, with an opportunity for reappointment at that time.
Mr. Chair, I have a motion for you, but I would like to just preface this very quickly by saying we have an entire series of appointments and reappointments that we are making today. Just want to confirm and let people know that these are boards and commissions that are volunteer posts here in Fremont County. We couldn't do the job that we do for the entire citizenry of Fremont County without all of these volunteer folks working for us. Having said that, we don't just appoint people. Sometimes we might like to. But all
They
of
do
these
know they're
folks-
being appointed.
They do already know they are being appointed. They have all requested these appointments or these reappointments, and so I just wanted to clarify that before we run right through. So, first of all, I would like to move to reappoint Jana Dixon to the John C. Fremont Library District Board of Trustees with a term that will expire on December 31st of 2030, with an opportunity for reappointment at that time.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Item 5, reappointment of Sandra, Begal?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I did get this one, so I can butcher the name, so sorry, Chandra.
To the John C. Fremont Library District Board of Trustees with the term expiring December 31, 2030. Commissioner.
So I'll move to reappoint Chandra, and again, sorry, Begal, to the John C. Fremont Library District Board of Trustees with the term expiring December 31st, 2030.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye. That motion is adopted. Item number 6, reappointment of Sandy Johnston to the Penrose Community Library Board of Trustees with a term expiring December 31, 2030.
Yes, Penrose, near and dear to my heart, having grown up there. I move to reappoint Sandy Johnston to the Penrose Community Library Board of Trustees with a term that will expire on December 31st of 2030.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And the one that everybody's been waiting for, and everybody's here to speak about, number 7, the reappointment of John Hamrick to the Fremont County Planning Commission with the term expiring December 31, 2028.
Mr. Chair, I move for the reappointment of John Hamrick to the Fremont County Planning Commission with a term ending December 31st, 2028.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Let's see. Item number 8, we have the appointment of a new member to the Fremont County Weed Advisory Board for a term beginning January 1, 2026 and ending December 31, 2028.
Mr. Chair, I'm pretty excited about this one. I think this gentleman knows what's up when it comes to plants and to weeds. So with that, Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Dean Brady as the new member to the Fremont County Weed Advisory Board for a term that will begin on January 1st of 2026 and end December 31st of 2028.
Dean, thanks for being here today. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Second that.
Thanks for sitting through all of this. It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And last but not least, we have the item that we added at the beginning of this meeting several days ago. Item number 9, the reappointment of Rudel Mergelman to the Fremont County Planning Commission with a term expiring December 31, 2028.
With that, Mr. Chair, I move for the reappointment of Rudel Mergelman to the Fremont County Planning Commission with the term ending December 31st, 2028.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And with that, we are all out of stuff to do today. We are adjourned.